Today on the show, analyzing packet captures in SQL and tracking pollution with Arduinos. All that and more coming up on Hack 5. This episode of Hack 5 is brought to you by Domain.com.
Hello, welcome to Hack 5. My name is Darren Kitchen.
I'm Shannon Morse.
It's your weekly dose of Technolost.
Welcome, everyone.
To where we
We're
make
actually
technology
back here.
behave.
We're here in the
Misbehave.
same... Misbehave.
Yes.
No, wrong
we
show.
aim to misbehave.
Wrong show.
But your coat's a little brown.
Well, yeah.
Should get on sale.
Yeah.
All right.
Thrift shopping, man. That's fun.
And the
time.
reference we were making wasn't just about the brown coats, but it was in fact about a little show that Shannon is doing with Patrick Norton, so you should all tune into it. It's called Tech
super
Thing.
fun.
It's right there. You notice that? It's right there.
Oh, yes.
Little homage.
Oh, where'd that come from?
Next to the pineapple skateboards. Not to be confused with this pineapple skateboard. Anyway.
We haven't been on set together in a while.
Awesome show this week. Good stuff. I'm fist bumping and you're not. And
Sorry,
we have.
I'm not used to having a co-host. It's so weird.
Right. So I don't know what happened to Greg. The accidents
Greg,
happen in the workplace.
Greg did that whole drama
It's
queen thing where he
not
just
all
walked out.
OSHA, is all I'm going to say. Okay. So, yeah, fun things happening at the warehouse. Next week, in fact, we'll be able to debut the new workshop set.
Yay.
Because we're working on fun projects together. This is very exciting. So some of this stuff is going to come together. So let's talk about some of the awesome elements of those things and kind of let it evolve naturally. And of course, through your feedback. And it's not just feedback that we get from fans. It's not just the tweets at Hack5.
It's not.
It's not just the feedback at hack5.org. Sometimes we get gifts.
Gifts
like
this one.
It's an ASCII Hack5 poster.
It's so cool.
This is wicked.
So the only thing that came with this was basically an invoice from the company. So we don't know who sent this to us.
We didn't pay for it. No one paid for this. So
Darren walked around the entire warehouse. He was like, "Did you buy this?"
no one
I'm like,
ordered
"No."
this. But if you look at it, it's let's see, Walker question PHP if file exists /pineapple /include /welcome.
it's the
Hey, it's the
pineapple.
source code to the pineapple.
It's really cool.
That's rad. In fact, it's right off the GitHub. So
I think we should hang this up next to all of our other cool fan art.
I think it looks rad.
Fan
I love
art's
ASCII. And I love ASCII in code. It's even better. So if you happen to have sent this by, or if you just feel like
Let us
taking
know.
credit for it, tweet at Hack5 or email feedback at hack5.org with a photo of your driver's license and debit card, and make sure to get the back of it too. We need the CCV
Yes,
number
we do.
and your address.
Don't
So,
do that.
man, I'm just so
Can I
excited
have
to
one
be
of those,
back
please?
from. Oh, this
I
is
really want a club
just a little
latte.
something I
I
picked
just-
up from the hacker spaces in Europe.
But
No, it's €2.
I'm kind of
It's 2
addicted.
euros.
Well, I don't have a euro.
You want one of these?
Do you have a euro? Yes.
Yeah. Well, here's €2.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Here you go.
Thank you. There you go.
Thank you.
That's what we've been doing around here.
Yeah. Oh, it's one of those ones. Oh, I better not ruin this, huh?
One of those.
Thank you.
I am
This
very
isn't beer,
excited.
by the way. This
no,
is
it's
very
it's
caffeinated.
it's mate.
It's like balls.
If you guys are in Europe, you know exactly what we're talking about. But yes, it's kind of the European equivalent to American balls, but rather than for the LAN party crowd, it's geared towards the hackerspace crowd, and it's really good.
This one wasn't refrigerated.
No, you'll be okay. So, I am very excited because I have been playing with a fantastic tool. I know that we have kind of taken a little hiatus on this little project that we started right before the move because, oh my God, earthquakes, everything gets weird, let's just move into a warehouse, hey! And now I'm very excited because Vivek over at SecurityTube, I don't know if you guys know Vivek, but you should definitely know about SecurityTube because they have epic videos about all sorts of cool pen testy good stuff. And there's this cool tool that will kind of aid us in the project that we began with
The
birdhouse, which has since been upgraded to a birdhouse that has, this is kind of awesome,
So cool.
no way for birds to get in.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
You really need to put a hole in there
I
for
know,
the
I know.
birds. There's Greg.
Get out of here.
Seriously, dude?
Yeah.
Gosh.
No. Oh, yeah.
He just
And
likes being a part of
we
the
got
show.
some Lings Fire. They're almost as good as the Trust Fire
course.
or the Ultra Fire or Mega Fire. Why name your batteries after things that catch fire? But we're going to get more into this good stuff. But essentially, the purpose of the project was to track interesting things that are in the airwaves coming out of people's phones, to be able to track people's movements and do it all passively without ever transmitting anything. We're basically just soaking up what's already there and available in the air.
It's
and
data
then,
collection.
Yeah, data collection, making some sense of it, collecting some metadata, as it were. Because that's not a hot topic. And so Vivek from SecurityTube just launched an awesome new tool that allows you to take packet capture files, which you're very familiar with doing in Wireshark,
Yes.
and allow us to export those either into XML or into a SQLite database. And the reason that's important is it means that we're actually able to do some analysis of this in kind of the standard way that we would in SQL rather than just using filters in
okay.
Wireshark. So you guys are probably familiar with Wireshark filters. We've done a few of these in the past. In fact, I have.
I'm very
PCAP.
familiar with Wireshark packet captures.
I've got a test association
Filters.
here. I'm going to go ahead and open this up in Wireshark. And this was actually a test association for when we were doing some work on Pine AP. And this is one where it fails, where there's beacons, there's probes, there's probe requests, there's probe responses, there's all of those things that you expect in Wi-Fi, and then there's a disassociation right here. As soon as there's an association, it's like, hey, everything is happy, let's authenticate, let's associate, we're associated, but let's disassociate. And it's like, okay, so we fixed that bug and now everything's happy, and Pineapple's doing fantastic stuff with Pine AP. And this was very valuable in us doing some analysis of that. And this is a good example because it's not very many packets, but if you have tons of packets and you're looking for a needle in a haystack, while you can do filters, like for example in Wireshark, as you're probably familiar, Shannon, I can, for example, say wlan.fc.type_subtype. So I'm looking for a type of wireless LAN frame, and in this case, the type 0 and the subtype 4 are going to tell me that I'm interested in control frames, and specifically I'm looking for probe requests. So if I just say EQ 4 and filter there, I can notice that the only thing I'm seeing now are probe requests, which is fantastic. In fact, this is a very short list, so it's really easy to see. Boom, I've now filtered out of this huge packet capture. But if I have a huge packet capture, and say I want to just see all of the unique probe requests coming from any client in the area, this is where this awesome new tool comes in, and you can find this over on GitHub in /SecurityTube, and there's an awesome write-up on securitytube.net. And essentially, it's a Windows command line program, and it hasn't been open sourced yet, so I'm not sure if Vivek has plans to cross-compile this to Linux or whatever have you, but still, it's pretty wicked in that all I need to do is run pcap to XML, and then I give it my source, which is that test association.pcap, and then tac s. Actually, I'll show you the output here. If we just run that, you can see you can do tac s to get the files, tac x to do an XML versus a SQLite. You can even tell at the beginning and end of the packets what kind of offsets and things of that nature. So I'm just going to run it on my test association and call it test association.db. Oops, I need to give it the tac s. And there we go. It only took 2 seconds, but then again, it was only 300 packets. So,
Cool.
Yes. And now I have this epic file here, testassociation.db. So if I go into a SQLite browser like SQLite browser, an aptly named program, I can now go into, I can actually just go ahead and import this and see the entire database, right? Here's my back headers, here's all of the tables, here's my packets, and I can browse through the data, and I can actually use filters right at the top here, or I can just go ahead and execute SQLite statements, which is kind of awesome. If you guys are familiar with SQL, it's a really powerful language, yeah. Select star from users where clue equals greater than 1. It kind of makes sense, right? I like it. So all we have to do here is I'm going to go ahead and select distinct, because I only want unique ones, ADDR2, and then from, I'm going to pull it from MAC headers, and then we're going to define what our filter is, which is where. So, if this equals true or if this equals whatever we want. Type, again, equals 0. That is, type equals 0 is being a control frame. And subtype, just like in Wireshark, equals 4, semicolon. And I can go ahead and run this. And it's not a whole lot of output, but what's really nice here is I only have just the unique MAC addresses of the stations, or base stations, and it could be as well,
That's cool.
that in the nearby vicinity, when I was capturing this packet capture, were sending out probe requests. So what this means is, while we have an Epic program that runs on the Pineapple that will just capture just these to a PCAP, it also means that we can then do interesting data analysis in SQL, which is really the language that you want to be doing this in, not necessarily kind of the linear structure and just the basic filtering that is a PCAP in Wireshark. So I figured this, coupled with some timestamps and some geolocation information, we're going to be able to have a lot of fun with this. And I'm super excited about this tool. This is just the very beginning of it, in fact. There's going to be all sorts of... I'm actually really excited to see where this goes, because Vivek has a roadmap up on securitytube.net talking about the visualizations and other cool things that are going to be coming to this tool. So I just thought I would show you guys this because it's very apt for what we're about to get back into with the birdhouse and the monitoring, passive information in the airwaves. And maybe not just in the airwaves, maybe in the air as well. But we'll have to take a quick break, and when we get back, we're going to find out who stank up the room. Shannon.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying.
It doesn't matter if you're a fan of benzene or carbon disulfide. If you have a killer idea, you need to snag yourself a domain name and web hosting fast. And the coolest thing is you can get that over at domain.com, because they have this domain discovery system and an easy checkout process that's going to get your website up and running in no time at all. And I've told you guys before how much I love domain.com, mainly because they're affordable, reliable, easy to use, but mostly because they have an active social media presence. You can tweet them at domain.com and say thank you for supporting Hack5 through all these years. Thank you for having awesome customer support. Thank you for keeping this show going because it's epic. And the guys over at domain.com, they're huge Hack5 fans, and they want to hook you up. So they have this super special coupon code. It's really easy to remember. It's HAK5. That spells Hack5. If you use that at checkout at domain.com, you'll get an extra 15% off. So when you think domain names, think domain.com.
It is now time for the trivia question of the week. Last week's trivia question was, what frequency range is the high frequency band? And the answer is 3 to 30 megahertz. This week's trivia question was, the sampling rate, how many samples per second are stored for a CD, is what? And you can answer that over at hak5.org/trivia for your chance to win some awesome Hack5 goodies.
What's a CD?
I think you smelt it.
No.
Did you dealt it too?
You dealt it.
Yeah,
It's
it was all him.
Actually, let's blame it on the refinery.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we love to do here.
Speaking of which, so this is kind of cool. There's a website for our area that we live in. It's called fenceline.org/Richmond. They probably have this type of setup for a lot of areas similar to ours, but since we're so close to a oil refinery, they have the setup to show you the air quality of different sections of the city of Richmond. So if I scroll down to Point Richmond, which is what we are close to, you can see if anything's detected. And mysteriously, nothing is detected at the moment, except for a very, very small bit of black carbon.
We're supposed to see benzene and carbon, disulfide and ozone and sulfur dioxide and xylene.
Oh, here we go. So let's see. So a safe bit of ammonia would be, I believe it is 1 to 5 parts per billion.
Oh, wow, that's
and
really small.
Earlier this morning at 10:30 a.m., we had a spike in ammonia to 132 parts per billion. Delicious ammonia. Gotta love living near a refinery.
This is one of the things that comes with being in an industrial area.
Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah, but what I find interesting about this is this fenceline.org site, specifically for Richmond, was set up by the refinery and all of the other chemical processing plants nearby in association with, of course, the community and the municipality and all of those things. I'm sure it's completely impartial.
Yeah, so that begs the question, can you trust it?
Exactly. And what does it even mean that nothing detected? Well, are your sensors broken? Like, how
Yeah.
is it that there are 7 parts per billion of benzene in Atchison Village, but there's nothing else? So,
That's kind of creepy.
yeah.
So Darren actually introduced me to this cool little thing called the MQ135 gas sensor.
Oh,
It's
I
an
thought
air
it was a
quality
Reaper.
sensor.
Oh, that's a different,
Reaper?
that's an MQ something else. Never mind.
No, not a Reaper. Sorry to break your heart. But you can basically use this thing, plug it into an Arduino, and you can get points between 0 to 1023, and that can be calculated and calibrated to give you an example of what your air quality is in the area. Because it'll pick up everything from ammonia to alcohol, so you could totally use it as a breathalyzer, a CO2, sulfur, benzene vapor, smoke, and other gases. So lots of stuff that's harmful to humans. And it's only $11, so I believe we got 2 of them because
Yes.
one is none.
And
which
actually,
I've learned.
you've actually, gone the easy way because a
Yeah,
lot
I
of people
did.
just get the MQ135 without it being a part of a module.
Yeah.
Which means then it's really just a couple of resistors to get the whole thing working. But it's nice that it's like now on a little board, ready to go. You
Yeah,
want to talk
somebody
me
made it
through
for
the
me.
module and what's actually on here?
Sure. So the front of this is the little gas sensor. Down here you have your 4 pins, and the pins are ground, analog out, digital out, and then volts. Volts, I believe, is 5 volts. So you want to plug in volts to 5 volts, of course. You want to plug in your ground to ground. I'm not using the digital out, but the analog out is going to analog pin 0 over on the top side of the Arduino Uno. Like that. Now, of course, if you only got the gas sensor with all the long pins, you would have to plug this into a breadboard, and there's YouTube videos for that, really good ones too. So yeah, we just went the easy route, and it's a little bit easier to carry around
It's a few bucks more. I think it's worth
the
it.
little area. Yeah, it is. But very easy to plug in, and then the code, I'll show you that too, because I have it pulled up on my computer. So this is the code. You're basically just putting int sensor value at the top to set your int. Void setup starts up the actual serial monitor, so we're monitoring the points that we're getting out of the gas
You
sensor.
did that just a few weeks ago.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm
Building
doing
on
the
it.
same thing.
Nice.
It's still 9600 baud. And then we do the loop at the bottom, which takes the sensor value from the analog read pin 0, which is going to tell us whatever gas is being picked up by the gas sensor. Print line, it's going to print the sensor value in decimal, and then delay of 100, so that's 100 milliseconds. And then what we get is a bunch of numbers.
Okay.
That looks like that. Oh, it's
So-
gone up a little bit.
So how do I set this off?
So you can breathe into it. Do you want to try breathing into it?
Okay.
There you go. Yeah, so when you breathe into it, we're getting numbers up to 100, 107, 108, 110, 12. Yeah, so it's picking up the carbon dioxide in your breath.
I'm poisonous.
You're poisonous.
Like venom. Yes.
Well, you're not supposed to breathe that for a very long time, but at least the trees like it. But what I noticed on this too, and this was pretty cool, since we have this website set up for the Richmond area, I was able to track for ammonia, for example, because I noticed that we had quite a bit of ammonia and there were quite a few spikes. So I took a sensor reading on Friday after I left this sitting out and charging for like 4 hours, just so it would actually stabilize to a decent number. I got, when we were at 6.38 parts per billion, which is actually higher than what you
they
should
said,
have.
right?
Yeah, what they said on the Richmond website. The points on the gas sensor were 72.
Okay.
Earlier today, the ammonia levels, according to the website, are 2.84, and the gas sensor is reading out 64. So the numbers for the ammonia went down, and so did the gas sensor numbers as well.
Okay, so we know that there's so
there's something on par happening here. Obviously, I would need a lot of more numbers to calculate, like scientifically.
Yeah, that's the thing about this, and I think that's going to be the most difficult part of this is actually calibrating it.
Yeah.
Right. And there's going to be lots of math involved. But what's really nice is that we do have this fence line for whatever it can be trusted. We do have other pieces of equipment that we can calibrate it against. And
that's
there's also
true.
a lot of helpful source code available which will help us to get this dialed in so we can know exactly what's in the atmosphere.
So what do you imagine we could do with this?
Ooh, I have a couple of ideas.
What ideas do you
Well,
have?
first thing is drones, but then again, I got stuck on the whole MQ thing, and now I'm looking at Reapers. But,
Of course.
you know, different MQ. I was thinking that we could strap it to a quadcopter and put it on a autonomous path to fly into smoke plumes over the factory.
You know, I don't
Not
know
over their
if that's...
Not over their property,
Okay.
but over the bay.
Oh, okay.
But under 400 feet,
Right.
in line of sight,
Right, of course.
for non-commercial use, totally within the limits of the FAA. I'm going to talk to the lawyers about this one first.
Yeah, you might want to.
Otherwise, we can.
Stick it in the birdhouse.
Right?
That's a great idea.
I mean, why not? If we're already going to be gathering data and
Yeah.
we're already, you know, like powering pineapples
well, if it's for our own
long-range
personal
deployments.
use, to make sure that we're not, you know, getting cancer from the local refinery or something, then I think that's fine.
I think it is rad. I think that we should get you guys' ideas of the ways that we could covertly deploy this.
I
as
also
it
want to
were.
find somebody that knows how to calibrate these in English.
There's
Because I tried to read some forums and whoo, way over my head.
really? We'll figure it out. I'm
It was
sure
complicated.
we will. Cool. Hey, you want to find out about trivia? Because I do.
Do.
We'll be back in just a bit. That just about wraps up this week's episode of Hack 5. But before we get going, I want to remind you all that we have an epic event coming up here at the Hack 5 warehouse. If you guys are familiar with the TMV analysts, or is that TMV plus J?
We're doing a Darren adoption.
We're what?
We're
No.
giving Darren away.
No, we're having
No?
Tom, Molly, Veronica, and
For
Jason
donations.
here to do Buzz Out Loud 10-year anniversary.
Oh.
So if you are both a Hack 5 member and a member of Buzztown, then this would be a great opportunity. If you haven't signed up over at, oh, never mind, it's sold out.
bit.ly/B O reunion.
You can probably figure it out.
I don't know how I
Just
memorized that.
Tweet at us if you really need a ticket. And what was the other thing? Oh yes, there will be a live stream. So if you
Oh,
are
right.
in Iceland, you don't have to fly all the way over here. You can
Yeah,
stay in Iceland.
that might be a little
It's
expensive.
cool.
You can stay there.
Yes.
I'm sure you guys are having awesome weather right now.
We should go visit them.
Feedback
sometime.
at hack5.org, of course, is where you can email us and you can ask us questions or you can tell us how you're doing your own Arduino gas sensor build or whatever.
Yes. And also, while you're at hack5.org, you can find all of the ways to follow us at hack5.org/follow. You can find all of the other epic shows, well, like Metasploit Minute and Hack Tip and Tech Thing
Yay!
and all sorts of good things
All the
coming.
shows.
So stay tuned for more goodness from the Hack 5 warehouse. I'm very excited about all of the positive energy that's happening here. And with all of that, I would like to remind you that I'm Darren Kitchen.
And you want to support HAKshop.com, I'm Shannon Morse.
Thanks. I forgot about that one. Trust your Technolust. Hello, welcome to Hack. Oh, sorry, you were.
Whoa.
This isn't even €2. This is $2 Canadian.
Is
It's
it
got
really?
a bear on it.
Oh my god, it is.
It's not gonna buy you.
That's not my fault. You gave
Let's-
me the toonie. It's a coin inside of a coin.
Go, dog. I heard you like the coins.
So I put a coin in your coin. Here's 2 coins. What is a CD?
Ready? That just about wraps up. That's right.
Cheers.
We need them to buy the things so we can keep
We should
doing the
stop
thing.
drinking caffeine.
Cool.
Caffeine.
Yummy, yummy.